in favor of a particular ethnic group and in favor of a particular religion. So, great elder statesmen and Nigerians like Chief Ike Clark, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, Chief Nyangodo, Alawo Rodrick Ozimo, Chief Ogu, Brockno Akerele.
Good everyone. Mazezokum once more here. Today is Monday, the 22nd of June 2020. There is a developing news and a historic moment for Nigeria as a nation. Now, we've been talking about Buhari's sort of tribalism and the things he's been doing, where nepotism has been elevated and has become the order of the day, where he ignores federal characters and behaves as if only one section of this country belongs to him. Now, on the background, there has been this conversation on what could be done. And thank God that some courageous people have taken action. Today, legal challenge of the federal government of Nigeria takes off today. And that is before Honorable Justice Okon Abang of Federal High Court, Abuja, that is in Court 6. And today, Mike Ozekome, SAN, was holding the brief for Solomon Asamota. That is, I think Solomon Asamota was the one that defended the APC against Atiku. And the Sun is conducting the case for the Southern Middle Belt Leadership Forum. When we talk about the Southern Middle Belt Leadership Forum, that includes the Ohaneze Ndibo, the Afanifere, that is the likes of Chief John Nyangodo, the PANDEF, that is the one represented by Chief Edwin Clark, the Middle Belt Forum, represented by B2 Pogo. And, it's indeed a remarkable thing. So it's no longer about talking, but it's about also understanding that your rights or the Constitution is being breached, and, the president is not untouchable. But in this case, these people have come together to basically take legal action. Those that took this legal action are Chief E.K. Edwin Clark, Chief John Nyangodo, B2 Pogo. B2 Pogo is the chairman of Middle Belt, Chief Chukwuemeke Ezife, and 15 others who came together under the auspices of the Southern and Middle Belt Forum. That is an unprecedented feast in Nigeria, because I don't know what Buhari was thinking, that somehow the people will never complain. Because they have gone to court on serial breaches of constitutional provisions on federal character. That on its own is very nepotistic and very loop-sided in his very and uncontrollable loop-sided appointment. This matter today, like I said before, came up in an Abuja Federal High Court today. That is 26th of June 2020. And the plaintiff were represented by Mike Ezekome, SAN. I will play the video so you see what Mike Ezekome actually said in this video. In this court today, in Abuja today, just this morning, the people that were present with Dr. Bitrus Pogo, president of Middle Belt Forum, Jonathan Asaki, that is Southern Kaduna Middle Belt Forum, Akin Fahunda of Afanifere, Ken Robinson, and others. There was restrictions. Not many people could join. Many people couldn't fly in because of the COVID-19 restrictions. But obviously everywhere people are now jubilating, saying this is unacceptable. This is what we talk about. Yes, some of us will say, well, we are no longer part of Nigeria, but that doesn't mean that even now that you are still part of Nigeria, somebody will trample on your rights and you let it be that way. This is the kind of countermeasures that is needed for the Buhari administration to either roll off his sleeves, restructure this nation, or bring it back to the Abia Accord or the 1963 Constitution, because you can no longer continue in this way. Now, the next suit that you need to watch out is there is going to be another court case to actually force Nigeria to bring back the 1963 Constitution. That was the only constitution the people agreed on how they want to govern themselves. Sadly, the military came in and threw that constitution away. And it is, it's in the level of clannishness, cult of presidential personality. When they play politics of exclusion, and you ask yourself, your opinion doesn't matter. People are beginning to ask questions, and this level of mediocrity must stop. It is a diverse nation that if we want to stay together, then we need to define how we want to stay together, not just being held down together without any form of making progress. Honestly, I am happy that this case has started, because many people have been saying, oh, if you think Buhari is wrong, go to court. Yes, the court, here we come. Yes, the court, because these things are things that must be challenged. Even if you're not part of the nation, but I do not agree that your right will be trampled upon and it's not challenged in court. Now, let the court suddenly says, oh, what he has done is not nepotism. Then it's fine. We'll get to their Supreme Court, and let the Supreme Court says it is not the case. Then that's fine. That means when a Southern president eventually comes to power, then he will do the same thing. Then let them go to court. Let us get Supreme Court to interpret, because that's what it is. It is good to try and test all these things before the law courts, for people to be guided appropriately. Honestly, this is a good news if you ask me, and the fight to somehow, break down this nation to a point that it's manageable within various ethnic nationalities or entities or regions. We must continue to drive this, because not to get into another needless war that might consume innocent soul. Okay, watch the video of the press conference addressed by Mike Ozekeme, SAN. Remain blessed. Mazes, okay here.
Nationalities, as found by Professor Enugu Otite, are being clearly marginalized in favor of a particular ethnic group and in favor of a particular religion. So, great elder statesmen and Nigerians like Chief Ike Clark, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, Chief Nyangodo, Alawo Broderick Ozimo, Chief Ogu, Brockno Akerele, and some other Chief Chukwuemeka Ezefe, and others representing the various ethnic nationalities that are dissatisfied with the way and manner the country is being run, have come to court with certain prayers, including claiming 50 billion naira damages against the President, the Attorney General of the Federation, the Federal Character Commission, and others for the serious breaches of the provisions of Section 14, 15, 16, 17, 153, 216, 217, 218 of the 1999 Constitution, all of which enjoin the operation of federal character in all appointments that are made in this federal system of government in Nigeria, but which have been turned into a unitary system of government. The tip of the iceberg. The Chief of Staff to Mr. President, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of the Air Force, the Director General, NIA, the Acting Chairman, EFCC, the Director General, DSS, the head of the Nigerian Fire Service as the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs, the Nigerian Fire Service, the Civil Defense Corps, the personal physician to Mr. President, the PA to Mr. President, the personal secretary to Mr. President, the Director General of Immigration, the Controller General of Nigeria Correctional Service, that is former Nigeria Prison Service. Virtually every member of the security apparatus, security architecture in Nigeria are from one side of the country. The northern part, particularly northwestern part and northeastern part. In a pluralistic country like Nigeria, where every Nigerian is constitutionally obligated to contribute his own quota, but to also be given a sense of belonging. Issues that were both the immediate and remote causes of the bloody 1967-1970 Nigerian Biafra Civil War. So this country, this case, is not divisive. In fact, it is a case begging the government to bring about the constitutional indivisibility and indissolubility of Nigeria as envisaged in the preamble to the 1999 Constitution. You cannot continue, we cannot continue to rule Nigeria like a unitary system of government, whereas we are a federal system of government. We cannot continue to rule Nigeria as if it belongs to a particular ethnic group or a particular religion in this country. So these great elder statesmen and women have come together to save Nigeria from the precipice, from going the way of other great countries that went such way because they were indifferent and insensitive to the yearnings of the people. Who could have known, for example, that the USSR would ever break up the former United Soviet Socialist Republic? What of former India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh that were once together? What of Sudan and Southern Sudan? What of Ethiopia and Eritrea?